Hello again and welcome back to the Progressbitarian. I want to make this video as quick as possible because it is about, it's 18 minutes after midnight. It is very early morning of November 6th, 2018. That is when I'm recording this, and I wanted, just before the elections start and polls open, I wanted to actually give my quick take on what I think is going to happen and how I'm voting in my election. So, if I go to 538.com right now, it says that the overall likely turnout or result is going to be the Democrats will take the House, but the Republicans will keep the Senate. Now, I have to agree with that because the numbers are pretty big in there. It says here in the classic state it has the Republicans have a 4 in 5 chance of keeping control of the Senate, and then for the House forecast it says the Democrats have a 7 in 8 chance of gaining the House. So I think that's really going to happen, and also it's just normal as to what happened when Obama was president. During his first 2 years in office, he had a Democratic supermajority. Like, the Democrats controlled both the Senate and the House during his first 2 years, and then in the 2010 midterms, the Republicans took the House, but the Democrats kept the Senate. So it's just a normal thing that really happens. So that's what I think is going to happen in a nutshell. Moving on to my race, I live in Virginia, and right now it is Democrat incumbent Tim Kaine versus Republican Corey Stewart versus Libertarian Matt Waters. Now, I don't like any of these guys. Tim Kaine, for starters, for those of you who don't know, and I'd be surprised if you didn't, he was Hillary Clinton's running mate in 2016 for vice president, and he's the junior senator from Virginia. So far, he's only been in office for one term since 2013, so he's seeking re-election to a second term. First of all, he's very boring. He's very weird. Like, the smile he puts on, it's very creepy. He looks just like a goldfish when he does that. He's like, I'm Tim Kaine. I'm so creepy. So, already kind of weird, but also, in terms of his policy, he's for the Trans-Pacific Partnership. He voted this year to deregulate Wall Street, to partially repeal Dodd-Frank. I'll have linked below in the description the vote from Senate.gov on that, so you can see that he did indeed vote with a bunch of other Democrats to deregulate Wall Street. He also wants us to stay in Afghanistan, and this year he also voted to increase our military budget up to $717 billion. I think that was the number. If I'm wrong about that, I apologize, but I'll also try to have the link to that vote down below in the description as well from Senate.gov. So yeah, I don't really like Tim Kaine. Corey Stewart, on the other hand, I think he is Trump on steroids. So he's a pretty bad option for me. He called the Republicans in the Virginia House of Delegates who voted to expand Medicaid flaccid and garbage, and he stood outside the House of Delegates on that day holding up toilet paper rolls and yelling. So that just shows you how insane he is. I think he also supported Roy Moore during the Alabama 2017 special election, where Doug Jones won, which I don't really like Doug Jones either. He was also one of the Democrats who voted to deregulate Wall Street this year. Check it out in the Senate.gov vote I have linked below. Now, and then of course there's Libertarian Matt Waters. Now, Matt Waters is pretty much a newbie. He hasn't really held any political office before, and from what I can tell, he has proposed a lot of insane policies. He wants to eliminate the estate tax. He wants to completely abolish the federal minimum wage. He wants to completely repeal Obamacare, and by the way, I do not think Obamacare is a great law. I just think it's better than nothing, okay? I would prefer moving toward a single-payer, Medicare-for-all healthcare system. I think that's the best way to go. But, so yeah, Matt Waters, he proposes a bunch of ideas that I think are just too insane for me, and he has some good stuff. Like, he wants to end the war on drugs. He wants to look out for the Fourth Amendment rights. He also, opposes the wall and wants to simplify immigration and give, non-criminal immigrants, whether they're undocumented or documented, a path to citizenship. And when I say path to citizenship, that doesn't mean instantly granted citizenship, okay? When we say path to citizenship, we mean path to citizenship, alright? Complex path, alright? Now, so yeah, out of all these guys, I took the I Side With quiz, and I mostly aligned with Tim Kaine. And while I'm not proud to say it, today I will be voting for Tim Kaine because while I think he is an establishment, typical corporate Democrat, he is definitely the best option and the lesser of two evils when it comes to Corey Stewart, and the lesser of three evils when it comes to all three of them, Tim Kaine, Corey Stewart, and Matt Waters. So, I'm not proud of it, but I will be voting for Tim Kaine. I just wish that we could have primaried him this year. He ran unopposed in the primary, the Democratic primary. Corey Stewart did win the Republican primary, though. There were three other candidates: state delegate, Nick Freitas, former lieutenant governor candidate E.W. Jackson, and of course Corey Stewart. And I voted for Nick Freitas because he just seemed the most sane out of them. All of them pretty much have the same policies, but Corey Stewart still won. Heck, Corey Stewart ran for governor last year, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what really happens with this midterm election, but I just wanted to give you my quick take on that before I go to bed. And speaking of that, I better go to sleep now after I finish uploading this. So, good night, everybody, and get out there and vote.